Stop. You believe you know the tales of Sinbad the Sailor. You recite them like children's fables, filled with gentle Rukh birds and playful genies. But I, who have walked the shadowlands of history, who have sifted the sand of forgotten libraries, tell you this: you know nothing of the true price of the voyages. The first 6 voyages were but the prelude, the swaggering boasts of a merchant counting his gold. But the 7th voyage, that final journey was not a quest for treasure. It was a descent into an abyss, a confrontation with the very laws that govern the mortal coil. This is not a fairy tale gleaned from a dusty collection. It is a recovered fragment of forbidden history. It is a whisper that survived the bonfires of the ignorant and the steel of political censors. The original texts, bound in the hide of creatures that should not exist, speak of a pact, a betrayal, and an ending that was not retirement, but a final, terrifying transformation. We are not here to discuss jewels or spices. We are here to discuss a curse. We are here to discuss the true power of the jinn of the air and the fate of a man who sailed too close to the furnace of eternity. The true question is not what he found, but what devoured him in the process. Prepare yourselves. The deadly truth of Sinbad's 7th voyage is about to be unveiled. The sands of time are running out, and the reckoning is at hand. Do not insult the might of history by calling this a mere invention. The legend of Sinbad is a corrupted testament, a veiled memoir echoing through the tumultuous centuries. The true Ibn al-Bahr, the son of the sea, was not a single man, but a composite figure, built upon the lives of actual fearsome mariners and political envoys of the Abbasid Caliphate. I have read the Kufic scripts etched into the walls of forgotten ports along the Malabar coast, and I have sifted through the fragmented Ottoman archives known as the Kitab al-Jawahir, the Book of Jewels. They confirm the existence of a high-ranking official, Saifuddin, a master navigator tasked not with trade, but with imperial reconnaissance and the procurement of specific potent artifacts. The tales of the giant serpent, the rock, the old man of the sea, these are coded references to geopolitical conflicts and tribal powers. The islands he visited were not mythical, but were key choke points on the maritime Silk Road, guarded by pirates and powerful isolationist monarchs whose cruelty was legendary. The 7th voyage, specifically, is anchored to the historical crisis known as the Zanj Rebellion in southern Iraq. The Baghdad of the Caliph Harun al-Rashid was a viper's nest of political intrigue and dark sorcery. The Caliph himself, as noted in the unpublished commentaries of al-Tabari, often employed esoteric knowledge to maintain his immense power. The story was deliberately twisted during the Mamluk era to sanitize the horrific details. The gift Sinbad received was not merely a fortune, but a tainted talisman carved from an unknown green stone sought by the Caliph. Its true purpose was not protection, but binding a primordial entity. Sinbad was not the hero, but the unwilling vessel, dispatched to the furthest edges of the known world, what the ancients called Jabal al-Kaf, to execute a political curse that would solidify the Caliph's dynasty for 1,000 years. His final return was not a triumphant homecoming, but a desperate flight from the consequences of wielding forbidden might. The official legend states that the Caliph ordered Sinbad, now an old man, to retrieve a gift for the king of Sarandib, Ceylon. A polite request, a final duty, a lie. The true impetus was far darker. The Caliph had fallen desperately ill, his health failing after a shadowy encounter with a competing vizier versed in the darkest traditions of Mesopotamian magic. The only known cure was not an herb, but a substance known only as the tears of Al-Maut, a crystallized essence said to be wept by the celestial guardian of the deepest ocean trenches, a creature known as Al-Dabha, the slaughterer. Sinbad, the greatest living navigator, was not asked, he was coerced. His family's vast wealth was seized as collateral, his honor placed upon the blood-stained altar of the Caliph's survival. He sailed with a crew of convicted murderers and disgraced janissaries, knowing this was a voyage of certain death. Their destination, the silent archipelago, a chain of volcanic islands located beyond the limits of the Chinese maps, perpetually shrouded in a magical fog. Upon the treacherous isle of Zahara, where the very sand was hot ash, and the palm trees grew crystal thorns, they were attacked, not by savages, but by beings of terrifying might, the ghouls of the sinking city. These creatures, half man and half beast, were the descendants of a primordial civilization that sank beneath the waves, cursed to guard the island's core. They were formidable, their skin like granite, their blades forged from meteoric iron. The ensuing battle was no mere skirmish. It was a carnage beneath a blood-red moon. Sinbad, though aged, wielded his ancestral Damascus steel with the ferocity of a desert lion, his lifetime of violence surging through his veins. He did not seek to survive. He sought only to complete the cursed task. As the sun rose over the burning sea, his men lay dead, their bodies torn and consumed. Sinbad alone stood amidst the ruins, his ship shattered, facing the inevitable truth. To retrieve the tears, he would have to make a deal with the very entity that created the ghouls, a powerful, cunning Marid of the sea. The official story omits the crucial, terrifying transaction. Sinbad found the tears of Al-Maut, but not in a hidden grotto. They were clutched within the skeletal hand of an ancient, petrified jinn king, sealed within a tomb by the Sassanid Magi millennia before. To reach it, Sinbad had to cross a chasm guarded by the Marid, the very entity that now demanded payment. This Marid, named Zahak's Shadow, did not want gold or mortal souls. It demanded Sinbad's future. The bargain was struck beneath the earth. Sinbad would deliver the tears to the Caliph, ensuring the Caliph's life. In return, the Marid would lift the siege on Baghdad by terrifying elemental forces, but Sinbad himself would be bound to the cursed talisman he carried, becoming an immortal guardian, a sleepless Rukh bird of the air, forever tied to the Caliphate's fate. This is the deadly truth, the gruesome detail no one dares tell. Sinbad's return to Basra was his final mortal act. He delivered the tears, and the Caliph lived. But the moment Sinbad touched the green talisman to complete the transaction, the power of Zahak's shadow consumed his body. His human form became a prison. He returned, yes, but he was no longer a man. He was a sentinel of shadow, a living curse, forever sailing, forever accumulating wealth he could not spend, forever sharing tales to distract from the horrible emptiness in his soul. He had traded his mortality and peace for a dynasty's survival. This final voyage was not a story of luck. It was a testament to cosmic blackmail. The famed wealth he retired upon was merely a gilded cage, his heart a ruin, his spirit eternally tethered to the very forces he sought to escape. Why did the Hakawati, the ancient storytellers, preserve such a horrifying outcome beneath layers of silk and gold? Because the tale of Sinbad's seventh voyage is not merely an adventure. It is a masterful allegory concerning the nature of power and the cost of ambition. The 7 voyages correspond directly to the 7 stages of the human soul's development in Sufi philosophy, from the nafs al-amara, the commanding soul, driven by greed in the early voyages, to the nafs al-safya, the pure soul, which is never truly achieved. The 7th voyage, where Sinbad sacrifices his very essence for the survival of the state, represents the ultimate, tragic corruption of the soul. He becomes a creature of eternal utility, valued only for his function, devoid of human repose. The curse of wealth and immortality. Sinbad's vast wealth, the very thing that drove his initial greed, becomes his prison. This is a profound warning to rulers and merchants. Material might does not guarantee freedom. In fact, it often ensnares you in responsibilities and dependencies that cost you far more than coin. His forced immortality, his curse to keep sailing, is the ultimate condemnation of the man who refuses to acknowledge his limits. He challenged fate, and fate stripped him of his humanity. The mortal versus the magical. The story serves as a terrifying caution regarding the thin veil between the mortal realm and the world of the jinn. Sinbad, in his arrogance, believed he could manipulate the powers of the Marid and the Caliph's dark sorcery. But the ancient, elemental forces of the earth are not tools, they are predators. The blurred line in the climax, where Sinbad becomes less man and more magical artifact, warns us that the pursuit of forbidden knowledge inevitably leads to the annihilation of the self. The legacy is sharp, like a shard of obsidian. Power, when pursued without reverence for the natural order, transforms the seeker into the servant of the very thing he sought to command. Sinbad did not retire a hero. He was retired a slave to his own legend and the ancient might he failed to conquer. You came seeking the familiar fairy tale, but you leave bearing the weight of an ancient tragedy. The tale of Sinbad's seventh voyage is not a celebration of survival. It is a profound epitaph. It is the story of a man who sailed too far into the currents of power, challenged the forces of eternity, and paid the ultimate toll, the sacrifice of his very soul. The Caliph received his cure. The empire endured its crisis, and the vast wealthy merchant, Sinbad, was lauded as a hero. Yet in the silent halls of Baghdad, a chilling truth was known. Sinbad became merely a story, a distraction, a necessary mechanism for state survival, forever bound to a fate worse than death. He did not achieve peace, he achieved eternal servitude. Remember this, seekers of forbidden lore. Every quest for absolute power carries a corresponding curse. The deadliest voyage is not the one that takes your ship or your treasure, but the one that strips away your humanity and leaves only a gilded shadow behind. Beware the bargains made in the darkness. This is the true wisdom held within the forgotten scripts. Now the sand returns to cover the ruins, and the whispers return to the wind. If you have the courage to face the true dark heart of ancient history, and if you wish to join me on the next perilous journey into the secrets that bind man to fate, then you must subscribe to this channel. Unroll the next scroll with me. Comment below and tell me, which ancient secret shall we unleash next?